Rep. Amity for the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I appreciate the passion, and I too want to echo what one of my colleagues said about how it's nice that we can sit and have this chat, and we're listening. We're not yelling and doing ugly things. But I felt compelled to come and say just a couple of words here. There are things that I see in this bill, like on page 4, line 11. This is something that would be prohibited. Requiring or soliciting an applicant, employee, or student to provide a written or oral statement regarding DEI. That should be prohibited. That's compelled speech. That's not freedom of speech. That's not what this nation's founded on. And then the next one, number 4, extending any preferential treatment based on race, color, ethnicity, sex, national origin, gender identity, or sexual orientation in the making of decisions at public post-secondary education institutions on admission, state-supported financial aid, scholarships, or other services or benefits. This would be a good thing if you believe that scholarship should be based on merit or financial scholarship should be based on financial need. That's what I think it should be based on. But listening today, I'm hearing we're coming closer. We're coming closer. There's a lot more that we agree on than we disagree on. So hear me out. And if you disagree, come tell me later and we'll talk some more. Equity. Equity is a Marxist term. It's an attempt to have the government force equal outcomes. Instead, what we should unify around is equality. Equality is what this nation's about. It's about leveling the playing field so that people compete fairly. It's about equal opportunities, not guaranteed outcomes of success. Equal opportunities so that we can all try. It's about freedom. Diversity. I keep hearing diversity is what makes us strong. It's not. I keep thinking of the scripture about a 3-stranded cord that can't be broken. But it depends on what you make that cord up of. The 3-stranded cord can't be broken when all of the cords pull together. So what makes us strong is unity. Unity around truth. We should recognize people for their strengths, for their talents, for their gifts and their passions. And we should unify around the freedom for people to have an equal opportunity to pursue those dreams and goals. And what about our differences? What about our diversity? Well, here's a truth we need to come together around. There's only one race, and it's human. All are created in the image of God, in a big variety and abundance of beautiful shades of skin tones. There's only one race, human. I love you, my colleagues. Thank you.
Rep. Owen for the floor on the bill.
Members, I'm not sure what to say or how to say at this moment. I see us talking past each other. I hear us talking past each other. First thing I'm going to say right now is I am here to defend Emily Chenevert. I have known her whole life. We were born in the same town. Our grandparents were friends. There is nothing wicked or crooked or racist at all in Emily. She, like me, attends a multiracial church. I know this is about the bill, but I'm going to tell you all because I can't stand her being impugned. Last year at our high school, she got a young man put in the Sports Hall of Fame who had spent 15 years in jail, a black guy. She stuck her neck out. That's just a thing, but I'm just telling you the character of this woman is not what it is being portrayed. But what I worry about for us as a society is we talk past each other, especially in these moments. Some of y'all were here 3 years ago when we started redoing social studies content standards for the state. And Ted James and Royce Duplessis and I went over one of the formulating meetings. And I wanted to get involved. And Royce and Ted both told me, Chuck, if you get involved, don't just tell about what good happened to black people. Tell the whole story. And I committed myself to that, and not because I'm standing around black people, but because I'm old enough to have seen change in this country, and I have seen us get better all the time. And my focal point in that, and since I've been giving speeches since then, is our warts and how we have gotten better from our flaws. That we as a country were formed with great purpose, but with flaws. The 3/5 compromise was not good. Not giving women the right to vote was not good. But we started with this basic framework of equal justice under law. And over time, we shed a lot of blood. A lot of blood. Our content standards that our kids have now, and I wish some of y'all would look. I try to tell people about them, what we got done. They go into things that have never been in our schools before. They talk about the massacres at Opelousas, at Colfax, about the riots here in Baton Rouge. They go drill down way into Jim Crow and into Reconstruction and into Chappie James, into the Tuskegee experiments and the Tuskegee Airmen and Emmett Till. We as a country have moved in the right direction over time. And we stand here together, and a lot of you know me, and you know where I stand on these issues of equal justice under law. I think that's what stands over our Supreme Court, and that's what I stand for, and that's what I know Emily stands for here. And so when I see this chasm of misunderstanding, I'm going, why do a group of people see something and another group see something else? And I don't know. It is because of the things that have happened in this country that have been awful. And they have been awful. I am the great-grandson of a Klansman. My father decided we were going another way in my house. And we have lived our lives differently. And so when I see this, I just grimace because I love you all and I love this state. Carolyn and I came back to this state because it's our home. And I want to leave you all with this. I don't know how we're going to see past each other today. My wife tells me I shouldn't tell people that I use artificial intelligence, but it really helps me. I dropped this bill into my artificial intelligence machine. I'm thinking, what am I missing? I love everybody here with the love of Christ and the love of Louisianian. And I said, is this bill inherently racist? And here's what the computer said back to me. I didn't ask a white guy, I didn't ask a black guy. It said, this bill does not contain anything overtly racist. Its language is race neutral, prohibiting DEI programs and content that classify or treat individuals differently based on race without promoting racial superiority, denigration, or exclusion. The bill's focus on concepts like critical race theory or systemic bias is ideological, not explicitly racial, and exemptions for historical education, anti-discrimination laws, and academic freedom further mitigate discriminatory intent. And it says a few more things. But what I'm saying is, when we all go home tonight, let us all seek God, that we all may understand each other more. It's been a hard few weeks for me trying to get through to folks, and I hope I've gotten through today. Because Louisiana has a bright future. We stand at the threshold of greatness if we choose to have it. And I don't know how this ends, but I had to say these things because we are a great people. Last thing, when Francis Thompson was a freshman here and I was down here as a page in 1978, I don't think there were 3 or 4 black people in this house. Well, our age, yes. And there weren't many women either. We have come a long way. Let's keep going a long way. Let us lock arms and let us seek God. Let us seek God for how to be better.
Rep. Schinneberg, you have a right to close.
Members, when I ran for office, I said a lot about how I was never afraid to have hard conversations. I knocked on almost 6,000 doors with my closest friends, who happens to be a lot darker than me, who I love dearly, was with me that day. Many days, actually. And we're friends because of our heart and our love for God. When I did this bill, I reached out to her, and I've had some conversations with her, and had some good conversations with her, and I wanted to know her heart on this. And I had like a little thing to prepare, but I really just want to speak from my heart. And as a mama, I care about the future of the state. And I'm not afraid to have tears because I'm a very passionate person about my God and how he sees us. Rep. Owen and I have known each other a long time, and he talked about how I go to a church my entire life growing up. I was in a home where my parents invited everyone in their home. Black, white, yellow, brown, Asian, Native American. The church started in my parents' living room. And I'm so thankful that that's how I grew up. I'm so thankful that despite maybe years prior, that it meant a lot to my father that I had a home that was all about equality for all. That I saw people praying together hand in hand when I'd run down the stairs as a 4 or 5-year-old with care groups on a Sunday night, that what brought them together was God. What brought them together was a love of one another. And so early in some of the conversations, this bill is about legislation in our state. And it's about equality for all. I am so grateful for what I heard today. I know that must sound weird. I'm grateful to hear the heart of my colleagues. And sometimes you wonder, is it needed? And I'm here to say I think it is needed. Because these are the conversations, I think, that shape all of us. These are the conversations that we have. Why does this matter? Why does it matter that we make sure that little boys and girls sit in classrooms and aren't forced to be told that maybe, just maybe, the color of your skin, maybe it's the reason it could be a problem with you, either color? Is that okay? Does that make us better? Does that bring us together when we tell them how different we are and we tell them how opposite we need to be? Does that make us better? And my passion is it doesn't. When I talk to my little boy and he's like, Mom, we have these conversations. Who can I marry? Whatever. He's like, does it matter what she looks like? No, son, it doesn't. I want her to love you and love God. That's my only desire. That's it. We talk about this. I read this book and I brought it. I wasn't going to, but I've read this book called One Race, One Blood, based on Acts 17:26 out of the Bible. And it says we come from one race, one blood. Our blood is the same. So people may think I'm crazy. They may think, why in the world would you do this? Why do you talk about these things? Because it matters to the heart of God. And I know I'm not at church, but after hearing the hearts of everyone in this room today, this impacts all of us. It impacts the future. It impacts how we have hard conversations. We lock arms as black, white, yellow, brown, poor, rich, all the different walks of life. And we have to talk about these things. And why does it matter? Why am I willing, when the governor's office and cares about this bill, and I believe he wants what's best for the state, why am I willing? Because let me tell you why. We have to move forward and realize that we are of one blood. We are of one nation. We are more similar than we are different. And I understand we may have a different perspective, but mine is a biblical perspective. And I will continue to have hard conversations, and I will continue to embrace, and I will continue to talk about whatever we need to talk about. I want to hear the heartbeat of colleagues. I want to hear the heartbeat of Louisianians across the state. But my desire is that we come together and we do not divide. My desire is that we do not say we're going to discriminate against anybody. That you can't get a job because of skin color, whether you're white or black or yellow or brown. That it is not about that in this state. That we want equality for all. So we may not all be on the same page of how we get there, but I'm here. I just need you to know my heart. I need you to know how I was raised. I need you to know what this matters to me, that I believe in Acts 17:26. I believe that we are more similar than we are different. And I'm willing to do this and to have these conversations in our state. So thank all of you for sharing. Because I think this is what brings us together. I think we talk about it and say, nope, we're not discriminating against anybody. Ever. Never in this state. No matter what agency, no matter what department, we're not doing it. And we're going to protect each other. That's what this bill is about. This is what this bill is about. This is not about taking away the rights of anybody with disabilities. It has nothing to do with it. This is not about taking away anybody's rights. This is protecting the rights of our people. So I just want you to know I stand with all of you. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate sharing your heart and what concerns you. But please know, this legislation is protecting all. This legislation, it says we are not going to focus on one group. We're going to say it does not matter what you look like. It does not matter where you come from. That we in Louisiana, we are more similar than we are different. Because I tell people that about this. People ask me all the time, what do you like about here? What's one thing that surprises you? And I say, you know what? Even we have a difference of policy. I love every one of my colleagues. I have said it over and over. I've said it in radio. I've said it all the time because it's the truth. No matter where we agree or disagree, is that we are human and we're going to have a different perspective, but I love each and every one of them because they matter to their districts. They worked hard to be where they were. That's my heart. So this is not divisive. This is protecting every Louisianian. This is about equality for all. This is about making sure we are not going to discriminate against anybody based on race, religion, creed, or national origin. This is about every Louisianian. And I would just ask for your favorable passage.
Rep. Willard, why do you rise?
Just standing. I actually was hoping she would take one question on close.
Rep. Schinnebeer?
All right, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to request a lockout.
Will 20 members join Rep. Willard in a lockout? Rep. Marcel? Rep. Green? Rep. Hughes? Rep. Boyd? I'm sorry, a lockout is obvious. Quorum call. Members, vote your machines. Members, vote your machines. Members, vote your machine. Green. Members, vote your machine. All right, members, Representative Schinnebeer moves final passage of the bill. Those in favor vote yea. Those opposed vote nay. Madam Clerk, please on machines. Members, vote your machine. Members, vote your machine. Members, vote your machine. Members, either voting. Rep. Noel, no. Members, vote your machine. Clerk will close the machine. We have 57 yeas, 32 nays, and the bill passes. Rep. Schinnebeer moves to adopt title. Lay a motion on the table. Without objection, so ordered.